Hey guys and gals, what's up? This is Gimli1357 here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get all of the secret achievements in Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. That is all of the secret achievements that cannot be gotten just from playing through the game. However, there will still be some spoilers throughout, so I highly recommend that you beat the game at least once before watching this video. Once you've beaten the game, you can skip dialogues that you've already seen so that it won't take a whole lot of time, and you can actually get to the very end of the game in about 15 minutes pretty easily as long as you've already beaten it. Now, to begin, we're going to grab an achievement that you can get right off the bat. All you have to do is immediately exit DDLC and go back to the virtual desktop. Go down to your pictures, choose a picture, and set it as your wallpaper. You can see the button down at the bottom. Confirm yes. Once you've set a new wallpaper, hey, you get the achievement error right off the bat, and it will tell you to contact your system administrator. I don't know why it's buggy like that. But anyway, next achievement that you can also be getting right off the bat here in the desktop is called Stonks. Now, the Stonks one requires you to be able to be here at 2:40, as in time, either AM or PM. Now, you can find a hint to this one in the internal backup system folder, tower keys, and it will tell you clock time 2:40 and a 3-digit code 221. Now, 221, if you go back to the internal folder, you will find one called 2, another one called 2, and one called 1. And there is the project plan, but you can't open it because you can see in the bottom right corner, it is only 238, well, 239 now. And once it's 2:40, it will allow you to open it. So you just have to wait until that time or change your system clock if you can do that. But either way, once you get there at 2:40, you will be able to open up the Stonks project plan, Paula's project plan, which gives you the Stonks achievement. Now, it does have to be exactly 2:40. If you try to open it again just 1 minute later, it will not open. So make sure you get that one at 2:40. Now, our third achievement can also yet again be done on the desktop, and it is called Buy My Mixtape. And this one is to listen to music for 20 minutes on the virtual desktop. You can pick any song, you can put it in a playlist, or you can just hit the little repeat icon on the side and just let the music play and listen to sweet, sweet music for 20 minutes. And it is cumulative. It doesn't have to be done all at once. You can exit the game and reload multiple times. It'll keep track, which is why I only had to listen for a couple minutes here, because I've already been listening to the music because it's very nice. Anyway, finally on to the game. And we're going to begin right when you have to do your first poem. So after you go through the whole first day at the school, you have to write a poem. And this one, you need to actually take a while to do it as well. It'll take about 2 minutes. Once you have spent 2 minutes writing a poem, the song in the background will repeat itself. Once the song repeats itself, you will get your next achievement, Doki Doki Poetry Slam. Spend enough time in the poetry minigame for the song to loop. Takes about 2 minutes. So, not too bad, and you're probably going to get that anyway if you're trying to go for the perfect poems, because it takes a bit. Now, the next one is quite the opposite of that. It's called Any Percent World Record Attempts, and it is to write a poem in less than 20 seconds. So just mash through a whole bunch of them. It's really easy, especially at this one poem that was really weird looking for me. For some reason, they were all just variations of the word Monika. But once you do that poem in under 20 seconds, you will get the Any Percent World Record Attempts. And it can be done on any poem, but right there at the end, just happened to be where I got it because I was just clicking through because it doesn't matter anymore. Now, the next achievement is one for not exiting. So you want to hit exit and then cancel that. Either hit back button or hit no. Either way, you don't exit the game. You can exit to the main menu, but you have to click on exit DDLC and then choose no, and you will get the no achievement. All right, moving our way through. Now, next one is going to be back at the end of the game when you're sitting here with Monika, just chilling in space. You have to listen to a lot of her dialogue. I believe it's about 15 different dialogue things. You can see here, it just goes through them. You can't skip these. You can set it to auto and just let it play in the background, but it's actually quicker if you click through it. But it will took me about 18 minutes. You could probably get it in about 15. I was a little slow on some of them because I actually wanted to read what all it was saying. But either way, once you've listened to a lot of what Monika has to say, you will get the She Will Never Be Real achievement, which just makes me sad. Almost as sad as the fact that we're about to delete her for the second time. Now, once you've already reset the virtual machine and you have 0 saves, that's important that you haven't started up a new game yet. You'll want to go to your files, your characters, and delete Monika again. This will nab you the 2 stocked achievement. Now, you can't delete her once you've actually started up the game and started progressing through. So you can either do it right at the very beginning or at the very end. Either way, once you delete her twice, you'll get that. Now for our last secret achievement is going to be getting the good ending. Yes, there's a good ending to this game. It involves starting a brand new game in Act 1 and unlocking all 3 of the special moments for each character before getting to Act 2. First thing you need to do is write a poem for each of the characters. You can choose any of them to start with. I'm going to go with Sayori. And to help with this, there is a file in the games folder called Poem Words that lets you know what each club member's favorite poetic words are. But they're not in alphabetical order, and jumping around would be kind of annoying, so you really should put it in like a color-coded table and sort that alphabetically and organize it or something. So anyway, here's that I did. And once you have that, you can use this to write their poems. Now, you don't need to get perfect poems for this achievement, but there are other achievements for writing perfect poems, so it can be helpful. Once you've written Sayori's first poem, on day 2, she will have the little scene where you button up her blazer. Day 3, she will knock her head on a table. And then on the weekend, no matter who you choose to help, whether it's Yuri or Natsuki, you will end up with this choice. Make sure you choose the I love you choice, because you do. Who doesn't love poor Sayori? And if you do that, you will unlock this scene where she is hugging you. As long as you're getting these special pictures, that is what you need. And each of the characters has 3. So after you've done that, you'll get to this part where at the end, when the music cuts out and bad things are about to happen, you're going to want to save before you progress, because you are going to do that all over again, but with somebody else. So go ahead, make a new save, and then go back to the main menu and select New Game. You're going to go all the way back and now do the same thing, writing poems, but choose one of the other characters. You're going to have to do it with all 3. I went with Yuri next. And if you write a poem for her, you'll unlock this scene where you're both reading a book together at a desk. And then on day 3, you will have this scene where you are reading a book on the ground with chocolates. Now, the next thing you have to do to get Yuri's is when you have the choice of who to help over the weekend. At the end of day 4, you will want to choose Yuri. And then you will end up in a scene where she's back at your house and you washcloth paint and all that. Now you're going to do the same thing again. Make a new save and then start a new game. Now do the final character that you haven't done, which for me is Natsuki, and write a poem for her, which will get you this scene where you're both sitting there reading mangas. And then the next day, on day 3, you will have the scene where she is grabbing boxes from the shelf. Once you've done that, when you get to day 4, you will have to again choose who to help over the weekend, and you're going to want to choose Natsuki this time. If you've chosen her, once it goes through a bunch more stuff, you will end up with a scene where you're helping her bake some cupcakes, and you'll have the thing where you spill whipped cream everywhere. And once you've done that, and you've seen all 3 of the special scenes for all 3 of the club members, you'll just play through the rest of the game. Act 2, where everything goes crazy, and Act 3, where you're just sitting there with Monika, will be exactly the same. You'll still have to delete Monika. The game will automatically reset. You'll play through a little bit, but now when you get to the scene where Sayori before started to kind of go crazy, she doesn't. She actually thanks you for saving and loading so many times so that you could make sure everybody was happy. And that's it. Once you've gotten to this scene, you will have some special dialogue with Sayori, and the credits will roll. And during the credits, you'll notice the pictures don't actually delete themselves like they did if you don't get the good ending. So, yeah, the Literature Club is alive and well. That is your signal that you've done it correctly. And at the end of the credits, you will see the letter from Dan Salvato, game developer, and you will get your achievement, Dan Says Hi, to find his special note, which is also getting the good ending. And that's it. I hope this guide was helpful in you getting those 9 secret achievements. And I hope that you tune into Gamer's Guide and the Gamer's Guide channel Xbox Club for more achievement tips, shorts, and guides. See y'all later, folks.
Every day I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you.